Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another exciting edition of Pardon Our Picks, where perfection is a work in progress. I'm your host, Sam. Alongside me, of course, as always, is our esteemed co-host and one of the men of the hour, Tarik DeFries. How you doing tonight?
All right, Sam, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. And who do we have with us today?
We got a special guest with us this week. So a couple weeks ago, we had Sam's sibling, his sister Jessica. This week, we got my sibling, my younger brother Tommy. How you doing, Tommy?
Good. How you guys doing tonight?
We're doing all right. We're ready to talk about some football.
Fantastic.
Get it started.
So, of course, our video is brought to you by Morning Wood Crafter. MorningWoodCrafter.com. Go online, find some wonderful products that they make. They are inspired by design and crafted by hand. So we had a very interesting week last week, folks. Some really exciting games came down to the wire. Bills, Cardinals. Crazy ending. It was amazing. I thought the Bills were going to win that after that touchdown with 31 seconds left. But Hail Murray. So, what'd you guys think?
One of the few times you see that actually work.
I don't know if any other receiver could make that catch. Strongest hands in the league, DeAndre Hopkins.
Right now, absolutely. So last week we had a bit of a changing of the guard.
I saw my picks were really bad last week, so I kind of thought this would happen.
I feel bad because I think I convinced you to pick Cincinnati over Pittsburgh, and they lost horribly, badly. It was just disgusting. And
Ben
now
came in at the last second. He's like, I'm playing.
Yes. And now I've retaken the lead. The 10-4 week, I really needed the 10-4 week in order to take that lead back over 7-7 for Tarik. So it's a 97 to 96 standings for both of us. Speaking of standings, by the way, the Steelers. Are they ever going to lose?
That's a good question. Let's leave it up to let's see how our special guest feels about that one, being he's the resident Ravens fan. You and I are only we're Ravens fans because we live in the area, but Tommy is our Ravens fan expert. So let's see what he has to say.
They're going to lose at some point just because they're not the 72 Dolphins. But it's going to be one of those that nobody sees coming. It's going to be the Browns at the end of the year. It's going to be somebody you just do not expect.
What about you, Tarik? Who do you think? You think they're going to lose to somebody this year?
I think they are. They don't. I don't quite have the feel that we had with what was that the 12s at the 2012 Patriots that went almost undefeated. That they lost to the Giants in the Super Bowl. It's hard to remember because no one remembers second place. But I think they played the Giants 3 different times that year too. But yeah, I think they're going to lose to somebody. I don't have their schedule right in front of me, so I don't know who they're playing.
So they have, and this is their schedule coming up. They have Jacksonville this week. They're at Jacksonville. They're home versus Baltimore on Thanksgiving. They're home versus Washington. They are at Buffalo on Sunday night. At Cincinnati on Monday night. Then home against Indianapolis. And to end the season, at Cleveland.
Okay, so the two teams that I would think would be able to do that, in my honest opinion, are either the Ravens or the Bills.
I will say the Ravens and Steelers have a bad habit of beating each other in the opponent's house. Ravens love winning at Heinz Field. The Steelers love winning at M&T Bank.
But can Lamar win in the big time? He's lost a lot of big games, a lot of primetime games.
I know that all too well. And now that injuries have started, they're going to have to completely change their offense, and we'll find out Sunday what their game plan is moving forward.
Yeah, because they got to figure out something. Because once he gets behind, he starts panicking, and he's got to do this too. So I'm kind of glad He's getting this experience because he hasn't had it, and if he goes too long, he's going to be too old to learn this lesson. So you got to learn, okay, it's back. What do I do now? I got to be extra careful and make these. He's not quite at the point like it took Peyton Manning quite a few years to. He won a game with 2 minutes and got 3 touchdowns in a 2-minute drill. So I think he needs to learn this lesson so he can. I know the coaches got to do it too, and they got to get a better game plan because I think like the game Sunday against New England, like what really hurt him. Part of it was penalties. Everyone was getting frustrated. They had an opportunity. What were they on? Third and long, and then they got the first down and yet got shoved. They had the first down. They converted it and then got shoved back to 3rd and 28.
Yeah. Quite frankly, I think Baltimore's going to be a hard game for them. Jacksonville, they should roll over them, but they may be looking ahead to Baltimore, so it might be one of those trap games. But I think their best bet for losing is Buffalo and Indianapolis. Indianapolis with that defense may be able to slow them down enough to score enough points to win. Because they're also bad against the run. Indianapolis got a pretty good running back in Naeem, whatever his name is, Naeem.
Joseph Adai. No, Edgerrin James. No, yes. I'm thinking.
No, the Indy defense, their linebackers are fast, so they can cover. They can play well against Pittsburgh's quick strike offense. That short route stuff they like to do right now.
And if they get through those two teams, I don't really see Cleveland beating them because I think they would go for perfection at that point. So, I don't. Even if Cleveland needed to get into the playoffs, I don't see them winning.
Division games, you can't pick division games.
Yeah,
but we're going to try here right now with Tommy's game of the week. What do you got today?
Oh, we have Arizona. No, not Arizona. What are we saying? Kansas City.
The other red team.
The other red and white team.
And Las Vegas, right?
Kansas City at Las Vegas.
Yes, sir. With riding that high that Arizona or Kansas City has, the defense of Las Vegas, what they're running all over the place, takeaway city last week. I think that'll be a slugfest from the first kickoff.
Yeah, that should be good. That's a division for my favorite team, Denver, who's hit and miss and still trying to find their footing. Not really a contender in anything this year. So as Tommy said a couple minutes ago, a division game. It's hard to pick these, but it's a division game. If anyone, so I definitely think this is going to be a good one. Las Vegas is trying to prove their indoctrinatory season in Vegas and their move from Oakland. So this should be, I agree with Tommy, this should be a really good one to watch.
Kansas City coming in here at 8-1. Their one loss, Las Vegas. Las Vegas beat them earlier in the season. Kansas City playing in Las Vegas this time. Can't believe they lost in Kansas City, but then again, no crowds. I see Kansas City going in there with a chip on their shoulder. I see them just going ape poop all over them. Kansas City, I think Kansas City wins this one big. It's going to be interesting. It's probably going to be high scoring, but I still see Kansas City coming out of this one.
Yeah, who do you think is going to win, Tommy?
I think it's going to come down to defense. And if I trust one of those two defenses to step up and make a play, it's not going to be Kansas City's defense. It's going to be Las Vegas doing something that they don't expect. So I'm going home team. I'm going to stick with the Raiders, and we'll call it an upset.
That would definitely be an upset.
All right. So I'm agreeing, not agreeing with, but I had picked Kansas City. I think they're still a dominant team from winning the Super Bowl last year. They haven't shown too many signs of slowing down. This is the only team that beat them. I have a feeling they're going to be watching that tape and knowing, and they're like, this is the reason why we're not the other lossless team in this season. So I think Kansas City is going to come in and steamroll this. I think it might be close. I think it's going to be hard fought. I think Las Vegas is going to grab on with both hands and not let it go. So I think it's going to come down to the wire, but I think Kansas City is going to win.
All right. So let's move on to Tarik's game of the week.
All right, so my game of the week is, I forgot because I just said it a couple minutes ago. So my game of the week is the Titans and the Ravens. So this is, I think this is a good matchup. We got Titans, they're kind of ebbing and flowing through the season. Ravens are trying to pick up pieces. You got Henry, who last year was the reason they lost, well, one of the reasons they lost in the playoffs and didn't make it into the Super Bowl in that historic season, that 14-game stretch last year. So, and where is it? Remember, it's in Baltimore, so it's a home game. They're coming off the loss. I think Baltimore is going to win this, and I think this week they're really practicing on some of the stuff. Hopefully, they're working on these penalty drills, because I think penalties is a big reason why they lost a couple days ago in the Sunday night game. But I think Baltimore's got more pieces if they can just get those pieces to fit right. I think they have everything they need. They have some injuries. They had some key people out. But if they can get those pieces in there, I think they're going to be able to win it.
What do you got, Tommy?
It's hard as a Ravens fan. But I think with injuries along the defensive line and Nick Boyle getting his knee destroyed last week, that changes the run game. I'm leaning Tennessee in this game. I want the Ravens to win, but we will see what happens if the Ravens can change their offense. If they can develop a new offense, they can hang and get a lead. But if they can't quick strike, I think Tennessee's just going to pile them into the dirt.
This is going to be a low-scoring game. I think Baltimore really wants this victory. They lost last week to New England in ugly conditions. Tennessee has lost a couple games recently. Mind you, there's a lot of teams in the AFC at 6-3 just trying to make the playoffs. So whoever loses this is going to be behind quite a few other teams just to get to the playoffs as a wild card. So I think Baltimore at home pulls out the victory. It's going to be close, but I think they just have a little more hunger right now and a little more fight in them than Tennessee does. So let's move on to that other red team that Tommy was talking about earlier, the Arizona Cardinals, in a NFC West divisional matchup against the Seattle Seahawks, who they beat 2 weeks ago.
All right, Tommy, go ahead. Who you got?
I got Cardinals. I think Russell Wilson's turning the ball over a little bit too much. And I think the Cardinals are going to be riding that high. I think the ball is in the Cardinals' court right now.
All right, so I'm looking at it. Arizona is coming up while Seattle's going down, but it's in Seattle. Seattle's got the home field advantage with this. I know the crowds aren't really a factor. I don't know what the rules are in Washington over there, but I know we're not allowed to have fans here anymore. But I think at home, I think they're going to just try to, they still got some form of home field advantage. So I think Seattle's going to eke it out, but I think it's going to another one of these hard-fought wins there.
This is going to be a close game. It's going to be a good game. Seattle at home. Arizona, I think, off of that high from last week, they may have a bit of a letdown game this week. Quite frankly, as things stand right now, they are the division leader in the NFC West, the Arizona Cardinals. Of course, they're tied with Seattle and the Rams. And the only reason they're leading is because of those ties. I think Seattle goes in and rights the ship this week. It's going to be very close. It's going to be a very good game. Thursday night football. It's going to be exciting. So go
Which is
Seattle.
weird because a lot of Thursday night games have been horrible this year.
We have had a lot of and a lot of Monday night games too. It's been weird, right?
And some Tuesday night games. Because it's just a weird year.
Yes. Now let's move on to the Miami Dolphins, a surprising 6-3 team going up against your Denver Broncos. Tommy, who you got?
I've gone back and forth on this, and I still haven't made up my mind. But I'm leaning towards Miami, just because they're so out of nowhere. Maybe it's Tua throwing the ball left-handed. People don't know how to defend it. I don't know, but I think they're fairly evenly matched, and right now I give that upper hand to Miami.
Okay. So I'm going with, and I'm not doing this just because I'm the fan. Shut up, Tommy. So I'm going with Denver, but I'm looking at it this way. The wins that Denver has aren't with the teams we necessarily, some of them expect them to beat. We did not expect them to beat the Chargers. So I think this is just, Miami's one of those weird ones, and maybe with Denver still figuring it out, maybe they can pull something out with some of this stuff going on. It's in Denver, which East Coast teams tend to have a hard time going into that thin atmosphere with that time difference. So I'm going to go with Denver.
You know, I did have a hard time picking between this. Tua is from a very warm climate in Hawaii. He plays in Miami. He was in Alabama. He doesn't play in the cold weather. Now, mind you, he's going to Denver, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be cold in Denver this weekend.
It's been cold in Denver since July.
Yeah. But, in my opinion, I believe that their defense will keep them in this game. Their defense has shown a lot of promise this year, especially recent weeks. Denver, they have the defense, but they don't really have that offense rolling like they should. So for that, I give the edge to Miami. It's going to be close, but Miami in the victory. All right, let's move on to the 7-2 Green Bay Packers going up against the 6-3 Indianapolis Colts. Who we got, Tom?
Go Pack, go. I just don't think that the speed matches up too well. The linebackers, I don't think, are going to quite have the hold on the wideouts that Green Bay is dealing with right now. We're going to go Packers.
Yeah, I'm going with Packers too. Indianapolis, my old favorite team, but they don't look quite. They're doing better than I thought they would do this year, but they don't quite look comfortable with Phillip Rivers in the helm. It hurts my bad taste whenever I talk about that. I'm going with Green Bay. Green Bay's got like everything firing on all cylinders, as we've talked about before. Aaron Rodgers is he's pulling a Brett Favre, as I like to say. They're trying to repeat history. Let's bring in this new quarterback. Let's train him up, and then the old dog goes like, nope, I still got some life left in me. We'll see if he gets traded to the Jets and then the Vikings. But yeah, I'm going with Green Bay on this.
Green Bay, in the games that they've played, in the games that they lost because they got hit in the mouth early. They got hit in the mouth often. So it was a very physical game against Minnesota where they just ran the ball all over them. They just wouldn't stop. Green Bay has struggled against that. Now, Indianapolis is a very physical defense. So they very well could slow Aaron Rodgers and that offense down just enough to win. But my problem here is Phillip Rivers. He doesn't throw it to his outside receivers. He's a very short-range quarterback right now. And I think Green Bay will key on that. I think Green Bay gets the victory. It's going to be close. It's going to be probably in the 20s. All right, let's move on to the Monday night matchup. Another 6-3 team going against the LA Rams going against the Tampa Bay Tom Brady's.
I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't pick him. I think I should, but I'm not. I'm going to go against Brady, and I'm going to call it a shootout, but we're going to put the Buccaneers in the sinking ship. For the game, not the season.
So I'm going to agree with my brother for the second time in a row. It feels really weird because we've been disagreeing on almost every one of our picks. But I'm going to agree with the Rams on this. We got that tie. They are tied, right, with their records?
The Rams are tied with Seattle and Arizona in their division, but they have the same amount of losses as Tampa Bay.
Okay.
Different victories.
Yeah. So I think they're going to be able to, like, Tampa Bay, Tom Brady doesn't quite look like he used to with all those pieces with Belichick at the helm. He's won some games. He's lost some games. He looks more mortal, more human. But I think LA has got some pieces in there that they're gonna be able to slow him down enough that they can pull this out. I'm gonna go with LA.
The Rams last week slowed down a very high octane offense in Seattle. I mean, they held them to 13 points. They pretty much just smacked him in the mouth and said, "Come at me, bro." Tampa Bay, yeah, older Tom Brady, but you know what? They've been putting up points, and I don't know that the Rams are going to do it 2 weeks in a row. I have Tampa Bay in this one, and I have it as a very high-scoring game. I think it's like a 41-35 type game. So Tampa Bay for me in this one. All right, folks, let's move on to our quick hitters. All right, we're going to start with the Atlanta Falcons going up against the breezeless New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, I was gonna bring this up. I heard this today. He has 5 across both sides, 5 cracked ribs and a collapsed lung. Now, I will give it to him. He kept playing with that. I don't know. I consider myself, I'll play through pain. I don't know that I could play through that. So I'll give them credit. I still got New Orleans winning, though, because I feel like they got more pieces than Atlanta does. Atlanta has not looked good. They have they got three wins. One of them was against the Broncos. I'm not going to poo-poo on my own team, but Broncos are not at their peak at the moment, so they're not exactly beating great teams. And New Orleans has been phenomenal, pretty good. They only lost 2 games so far, so I'm going with New Orleans. Tommy?
I'm going New Orleans. And you can just play breathing with one lung. You don't need both. So I don't know why Breeze isn't playing. But
it's not the lungs, it's the ribs.
You know who else played with punctured lungs and broken ribs? Tony Romo. He went out week after week and still won.
slightly different career path.
Are you like the only Cowboy fan still defending Romo?
I mean, he was tough when he had to be.
Oh, that's very true. But I'm sticking with the Saints. I think Bridgewater came in last week and played well enough, carried them. I agree with Tarik. I just don't think the Falcons have enough pieces to stop Kamara. It just next level.
Falcons offense has been picking it up recently. They've gotten all their wins pretty much since they fired their coach. But I still think Bridgewater, with his experience, especially against this team that he's playing, will get the victory this week. It's going to be close, probably low scoring, but I have New Orleans in this one. All right, let's move on to the 5-1 Eagles going against the 6-3 Browns.
All right, quick hitter. I'm just going with the Browns. Can't really pick the Eagles, so I'm just going with Cleveland on this. Tommy?
Exactly the same thing. I don't see where the Eagles have enough to overcome what Cleveland has right now.
Cleveland, low-scoring game last week. Damn Chubb for not scoring on that last play. The Eagles with losing to the Giants last week. I have Cleveland in this one, but it's going to be closer than people think. Now on to my Dallas Cowboys going up against the 4-5 Vikings.
This is another one of those teams. As much as I want to win, I just don't think they're gonna do it. I'm going with Minnesota.
Same. It can go either way. I don't feel super strong about it, but I'll take the Vikings.
Andy Dalton's coming back this week. Not going to matter. Minnesota's going to win this one.
Did that hurt?
Yeah, well, I've been picking everybody but Dallas this year because they've just been terrible. Let's move on to the Cincinnati Bengals going up against the Washington football team.
Let me see who I got. Who do I have on this one? I've got Cincinnati just because I can't bring myself to pick Washington. Cincinnati's looked better even with their losses than Washington has. So I'm going with Cincinnati.
I don't know who's going to win, but I know we are all going to lose watching this. I want to pick the Washington football team. I think they start to look good, and then they can't get out of their own way. So until they stop doing that, I unfortunately have to pick Cincinnati.
I mean, it's not going to make a lot of difference in your own division. In my division, it determines who's going to get a better pick in the draft. Washington with Alex Smith coming back. He looked decent last week against the Lions, mind you. No touchdowns, but a bunch of yards. I still have Cincinnati in this one. Go Burrow. Now on to the Detroit Lions, aforementioned Detroit Lions going up against the Bridgewater Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, so I got Carolina at home. It's hard to pick either one of these teams. Another of these losing records against losing records. But I'm going with Carolina with the home field advantage here.
I'm going to go Detroit. No particular reason. We're just going Detroit.
Okay. Detroit. I love the reasoning. So we have Carolina without run CMC. No Christian McCaffrey this week again. He's hurt. So I'm still going Carolina. It is going to be an ugly game though.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on to that lossless Steelers against the 1-8 Jaguars.
Yeah, as we already talked about, I think the Steelers are going to lose, but I don't think it's by Jacksonville. I got Steelers winning this one.
I'm going to root for Jacksonville as hard as I can. But
right on, brother.
We're going to go Steelers until later on.
Till further notice. The Jacksonville Jaguars, they could show up for the game at least. They're going to lose this one. It's not going to be pretty. Steelers in a rout. Let's move on to the team that beat the Ravens last week, the New England Patriots, going into Houston.
So it's always hard for me to root for New England. I hate them as much as I hate Tom Brady. But I don't see Houston beating them at this point in time, so I'm going with New England.
I'm going with New England. I don't think it's going to be a super entertaining game, but with Belichick taking away what you do best, and I'm not sure that Houston does anything best, so it's Belichick's going to win the game.
Tom Brady's gone. It's Cam Newton now, and I think I really wanted to pick Houston in this one, but I think New England gets to 500 in this game. New England for the victory. And last but not certainly one of the least, the flightless Jets against the not-so-charged Chargers.
Yeah, so the Chargers, they've looked, despite the record, they've looked good with the loss, despite the loss of Phillip Rivers over to the Colts. But the Jets are just they're trying to copy what year was that? The Dolphins went 0-17. I don't remember. I think it was 0-16.
No. Detroit.
Detroit went 0-16. Okay. So,
Miami won.
oh, they
Yes.
won. But I don't see the Jets winning this one, so I'm going with the Chargers.
Tommy, who'd they beat?
Well, they beat the Ravens. I'm going upset. I'm going Jets. Because why not? Everybody can wish upon a star. So we're going Jets.
I thought about picking the Jets because they're gonna luck. They should luck into a win this year. But you know what? The Chargers, every single one of their losses, like it's less than double digits. So I have the Chargers in this one. So it should be a pretty good game, though.
That would mean the Jets would have to score double digits.
They did last. They did against New England. Remind you.
Division game.
All right. So it looks like that's it. We've covered all our picks. If you guys think we did something wrong and you like what we said, go ahead and leave us a comment down there. Like the video. Let us know you watched it. Subscribe, hit the bell. Let us so you know when we're uploading these. We're doing it every Wednesday during the football season, but we're trying to figure out stuff for other sports as they come back through the pandemic and with the new year and everything. So with that, I'm Tarik.
I'm Tom, your guest.
I'm Sam. A very, very, very special thanks to Tommy for joining us this week.
Thank you very much, buddy.
Yes.
Anytime.
We enjoyed having him, and you guys have a great football week.
Bye, guys.